you can feel something shifting, you're not imagining it. 2026 is one of the most transformative years of the decade, and I want you to be able to take full advantage of it. That's why I'm hosting a live 2026 astrology forecast on January 8th. We're going to break down the biggest planetary shifts and themes of the year and how they'll affect your chart, so you can move into the year with clarity instead of confusion, faith instead of fear, and obviously a whole lot of cosmic sparkle. Head to CosmicRX.com to join us.
We need to understand that the data points that we receive of repulsion are just as powerful as the data points we receive of validation. Because if you think about a magnet, it attracts and repels. To be strong, you will inevitably be repellent. And for sensitive people, we struggle with repulsion. We don't understand it. We're like, wait, you hate my guts? Why? Why don't you like me? And it's because we have such a potent energy that people don't know how to hold it. We think that we are too much, but the truth is it is the capacity of others that we're trying to get to hold us. They literally can't. Their arms are not big enough. They cannot see. And so when your light shines into their eyes, they feel blinded. It overwhelms them. It overpowers them. But that doesn't mean that you have to turn it down or tone it down. Instead, you have to learn. You must shine that light. It is what others need you to do.
Welcome to CosmicRX Radio, a podcast that gives you real-life tools of spiritual empowerment and pure hype. I'm your host and intuitive guide, Maddie Murphy. I'll be serving up your weekly energy readings, cosmic boss interviews, and astro inspiration. Are you ready to love yourself more, manifest your dream life, and own your magic? Let's jump in.
Hello, my cosmic baddies. Okay. Today, we're actually doing something very special. We're doing a series that I just decided to do as of right now from talking to this woman. We're doing a series of the cosmic bad bitches. We need to understand and meet and sit in their energy and just learn from them, vibe with them. And the people who I think are doing like the real embodied, authentic, but also fun work of being in this fully expressed energy that we like to talk about, of being, the bad bitches with the good hearts, living our charts, making our art, and like looking good while we do it. So we got an Aries queen. We have a lot of you, I'm guessing, I did just check the mutuals. A lot of you are already following her, loving her, just, I'm sure, soaking up all of her juicy magic. But welcome to the podcast. We have Zoey Greco. You recognize her from the Higher Self Hotline, which is something about it is like the most aesthetic, glittery, yummy experience of content that I've experienced in a while. Her podcast is chock full of everything from real client sessions, enlightening interviews. I had the privilege of being on. She doesn't let me ask my psychic advice segment, but like so many people who come on here, they are the multi-dimensional mavens. We are not putting anyone in a box, and definitely not her, but I am excited to talk to her today about really living in your authentic truth and being a channel, and so many things that I think are going to be really resonant with each and every one of you. And honestly, I just enjoy her. I get silly goose energy from her. I could yap for days with this queen. So welcome to Cosmic RX Radio. What's going on, Zoey? Welcome.
First of all, that is like, if I was a professional athlete, that's what I'd come out to. It'd be like, Zoey. Like, that is what I would have them play in the stadium. That was insane. Also, to be the first bad bitch, to be the OG inspiration for the bad bitch series, that's an honor. I don't know how, that crown is heavy, baby. I don't know if I can hold it, but I'll do my best.
It's heavy, but I'm like, we gotta like highlight the cosmic bad bitches, the witches who are doing like the cool stuff. Like I said, the bad bitch with the good heart, right? It's so much of who I love to work with. And it's so cool. After getting the privilege of speaking with you, I was like, honey, you embody this to a T.
You are so kind. I'm so excited to be here. And honestly, we just had a love fest over on the Higher Self Hotline that I honestly think I will play that for myself as I fall asleep every night for the rest of my life. Like that, we captured the moment we fell in love. Our origin story began on film, and who knows where it's going to take us from here. But I already know that this is a divine appointment. I already know
Absolutely.
that this is not going to go well. It's going to be exceptional. And
Mm.
with that knowledge, how could I be anything but beyond excited to be here?
Exactly. I am just like tickled pink. I am buzzing. And again, everyone listening is witnessing basically like coming off of like the best date of all time where you're just like, nope, this is it. I'm flying high.
That's the one, Mom.
That's the one, Mom. I met her today.
Mom, I met him.
So it's so cool. And exactly, I will listen to that podcast over and over again. So as we all, like any of the cosmic baddies listening, like myself, we do anchor into the chart to help understand like everything. We're going to tell a little bit of your story. I want to connect it to your chart, reflect things back to you that I see in your chart. I'm so excited to get into all of that. But first, we must begin at the very beginning, a very good place to start. As per Julie Andrews, what is your cosmic bio, aka your big three?
Ooh, baby, I am an Aries sun. I'm a Cancer rising, and I'm a Sag moon.
Oh,
So
love it.
personally, as a New York-born Italian American with double fire in there, I feel blessed now as I'm older to hold the fire, but to have no earth. Ooh, well, my Venus is in Taurus. So, and don't you forget it, baby. Look at me.
I mean, look at her. If anyone's watching the video, they're like, checks out.
Yep, checks out. So I get my earth there, but I mean, yeah, like being outwardly so watery and emotional, and then being and sensitive, and then being inwardly so fiery and passionate. It's a combination that just really confused people and created a lot of misunderstanding for me, actually. But I still have a very, very like loving and grateful relationship with my big three, because I wouldn't change it for the world. I just wish that I had known how to hold it or like understood it consciously early in life when I really could have used that information.
Same Z's to a T. I'm like, things that would have been helpful to know yesterday.
Maddie, write a children's version of In the Cosmic Zone, okay? We need it.
I am
divine
definitely
assignment
going
right
to do
there.
that. That is the next divine assignment. I feel it calling. I'm like, I got it. Because what a gift, right? To be able to, I feel like people, I'm excited to hear your story, and this will segue into that. But I feel like some people like you and I, it's like, yeah, we kind of go on the journey. Like there's a knowing, and there's like a kind of a on purpose forgetting, and like coming back, and then like working on the gifts. And I'm like, wow, wouldn't it be cool just to raise a generation of kids who are just like, yeah, like this is me. I can skip that other, like there's always challenges. Life's always going to throw you some curveballs, but we don't have to go through the whole like deconstruction, reconstruction, remembering, releasing, and just like be in that. And it gives such a language. And I love your fire. I love so funny. I love everyone's chart and every part of it, but sometimes when I like meet someone or I'm clicking with someone, little things like pop out. Like the chart is very alive to me. It's its own like Hogwarts mentioned before. Sometimes 100%. It's like a little curios cabinet, like something floats out of it, and I'm like, ooh, let's talk about this. Or there's like a little like personas and kind of archetypal energy within that are just like so silly and engaging to me. And I absolutely love your Sag moon. Like after talking to you, I was like, you're so wise, and you have that like old soul feeling, like she's done this many times, but all in the body of like comedian, funny, we're clacking, like we're bringing the vibe, we're learning through giggles, and like laughter and orgasms are the best magic wands of ascension. Like let's just not, like it all gets very heavy down here on earth. So like the Sag moon's like, let's just like big picture and make it fun. And I always find Sag moons like crack me up, but also make me pause and think like, oh shit, like, yeah, okay, like there's some wisdom. That's some wisdom. Yeah. And it's the wisdom I talk about in my book, Sag, is like that wisdom of lived experience. Like, you can't, like, this is not like fake it till you make it. This is not copy and paste. This is not ChatGPT. This is not like, this is like, oh, I've walked this path, and now here is like my embodiment, my teaching of it.
I always tell people I have to like learn through experience. I have to know it. And it shows up in my numerology as well. I have an attitude 7. So my approach to life is the seeker. I want to understand. I'm curious, but I'm not like bookish. I'm more of like,
Yeah.
let me live it, let me experience it. And that's
Yes.
how I gain information, is through experience. So you're naming it exactly beautifully and perfectly. And my story that you're asking about is really, it's interesting because you actually introduced it in so many ways. But I actually, despite not having astrology as a tool to understand myself as a child, did have kind of that experience. My mom was a very spiritually conscious person, like just very intelligent and very conscious, very aware. And so
Cool.
even though she wasn't given tools, she was raised in, like Christianity, like in the South, going to church. So, she knew that there was more to life and God than the Bible, but she was like, what is that exactly? I'm not sure. And by the time she had me, she was like, oh, I think I need to figure that out for you, because like you need that information, meaning me. So
Yeah.
my mom really did everything she could, went out of her way to make sure that even if she didn't have the tools to give me, that at least life wasn't taking chunks out of me, wasn't like making me question myself. She fought very hard to like preserve my personhood, which I really appreciate. And as I got older, she would take me to see psychics and mediums and card readers and go to all these things. And they were models for me, but not in a way that I maybe could like consciously hold. I was like, okay, yeah, you can do this for a living, I guess. But it still felt back alley, cheesy,
Yes. Yes.
like you don't take it seriously. Like she was giving me the best we had available, but it was
Of
like,
course.
this can't be it, And
Yeah.
so I did what everyone does. Not everyone, but I did what most of us do. I went to college. I studied gender and Asian culture, studied, a third gender population in Thailand, did anthropological studies of like the sex work industry there. Like I lived a normal life, and I thought, I'm going to be a journalist and I'm going to talk about the pain in the world and help people become aware and tell the truth and, be a truth teller. I wanted to be a truth teller. And that was the closest thing I had to an idea of what I would do, because underneath, I always knew this was the only option. Like this was the only thing for me. And even as a child, like in bath time, I would tell my mom about picking her and my dad from heaven. I would talk about past lives where my ex left me with all of our kids. No wonder I don't have any this time. To go get tattoos with his friends. And my parents were like, what the fuck? We don't even have a TV. Like, what is this? So like I was always doing weird stuff. Like I remember we had to write a series of poems in 6th grade, and I wrote stories from the perspective of soldiers throughout time. And we had no service people in our family. I had no exposure to the service or the military or anything, veterans, nothing. And I was writing these like really vivid first person accounts of like really emotional things. And my teachers were like, why is she doing that? Like, can you make her stop? It makes us feel weird. And so, my whole life doing stuff that made people go, can you stop doing that? It's too big and too much. It feels weird. I realized, I better pack it up. I better put that in a box, put a bow on it, and make it cute. So if I have to carry around this burden of selfhood, the least I can do is make it easier for other people to deal with. Ugh.
Oof,
Right?
wow. I know. It like hurts my heart for like
I know.
baby Zoe, but also like
I'm still taking that off, like I'm like, because I'm a person, and there's been a lot of that that's come to me. However, I took that into the work I did for others. So I showed up to my gift with my mask on. Ooh, whoops.
Yeah.
And I thought, I was like, I think this is what I'm supposed to do, but why do I hate it? And that was really important, because on paper, I actually had it all. I was happily married very young to like truly the love of my life. Like I had begun to heal my own stuff. I had, clients from all over the world, quickly scaled to a 6-figure business, published my own Oracle decks. Like I was doing the damn thing, but I was sick and I was anxious all the time. I was anxious every day of my life. And I couldn't understand, because I knew this was my calling. I knew it was my calling to be of service as a channel. And I was like, how am I getting this wrong? How am I not understanding what's going on here? And it wasn't until I started to work with people and expand my understanding of life, like 10 years into this journey, now I really understand and can give to others the experience of living unmasked as a highly sensitive, intuitive person. Like, what does it look like to walk through the world as a highly sensitive, empathetic, intuitive person? What is it like to know so much and hold so much and know that your job is to give that to others? What is that like? And now I serve just those people, those sensitive souls with big purpose and big mission and big hearts and big dreams and big feelings. And that they have some things they have to start to learn to take off so they can be the person that they already are deep down. So my own journey is what I ended up wanting to give to others, because to know that level of self-love and like freedom that keeps revealing itself over time. Like, it's not a process that finishes. That's why I say I'm still doing it. Like, because life is still happening to me, right? Like, I'm still doing the damn thing. So to teach people how to navigate what has happened to them, and how to navigate what is happening, and how to choose what will happen through their intuitive power, is what I've been led to do, because now I understand that that's how life is meant to be lived.
Again, so well said. Such a sermon. You're so clear, so alive. And I think that so many people listening, I'm sure, are just like nodding their heads like I am. Like, it's just, I like the hearing from your angle that you know, shout out to your mom and like understanding maybe, you know, not having all the tools, which I think is so cool. I feel like we are living in like a generation, like the generations past, where we're, you know, very physical, like let's get our family to a safer country. Like there's like, let's own a home. There's like, let's send our kids to college. And I think our generation is like, okay, now we get to do this work, like leap from their shoulders of understanding so much about like the spiritual and emotional realm, and really bring like a crazy current of healing to hopefully, you know, this generation and you know, whoever comes after us. But so like, shout out to your mom for having that knowing, and like, and I'm loving like, yeah, the back alley, the gritty, the tarot, the astrologer, the psychics. They're actually like that's it, but like a little different. I'm laughing at your part, like Venus and Taurus is like,
I was like, where's the caviar?
Like, corny. Like, yeah, like, can we just like,
can we get a little panache in here, please?
Yes. Yes. Like, this like neon lighting is like not kitschy and ironic. Like, it's not in a cute way. It's just like sad.
Totally.
So like, I'm like watching like the movie, like this whole journey of young Zoey. And I really, really appreciate you saying, you know, two things that I want to call out is that like, you were doing it all, like the business in the spiritual work, like, you know, the good relationship, the oracle deck, like clients following, like, so it's like, there's always, like you said, like life is still happening to us. And I think that is one of the best things of like, we're still in it. I'm still in it. Like, there's no arrival point. And there's, especially when you are so alive and you're so in tune and you're so attuned and connected and so purpose driven and heart centered, like you have to be honest of like, I have to keep, there's more within me to tap into deeper. And there's more like expansiveness, you know, parts of me. And it's uncomfortable. Like, it's not like even you having the tools and the awareness and the cute and the aesthetics and the vibe and the business acumen and like the language and the know-how, there is still like the humanness of it all, right?
Totally.
Where it gets sticky. So like, thank you for modeling that so beautifully.
Well, honestly, we are just mirrors of one another. And that's the responsibility, right? It's like when you feel the call to shine your light, it is not just for you. But what I've also learned, and I think is really important, the thing that I forgot for a very long time, is that being of service to yourself truly must come first. Because I was doing this work as the person I thought people needed me to be, because who I wasn't good enough. You know, like who I was couldn't possibly truly transform other people's lives. And when I did the work of accepting that that is in fact true, that only I, by being myself fully and completely, by being the person that I was created to be, only then can I do the most meaningful work. And I spent the first decade of my time in my business, which is basically until recently, like being so focused of service without ever asking myself once, how do I want to be of service? And I think that's the thing that people don't really pause to ask themselves is, what do I want? And they, even if they do pause to ask the question, it's a little silent at first. There's a little bit of silence,
Yeah.
like, because you have to be still and you have to be quiet to hear it. And that silence scares most people away before the answer arrives. And so I really want to
100%.
teach people to sit there with it and go, oh, if I can hold space through the silence, well, first, if I can clear the sound, right? Clear the
Mm,
noise. Then if I can
mhm,
sit with the silence, I can do anything. I can do anything.
mm.
And I'm unlocking, like, the life that I unlocked when I was masked was still so delicious and good. And there are so many pieces of it that I choose to keep because my true self was acting underneath that, like my true self was running the show, but all the things we put on were kind of getting in the way, making me take some detours, like kind of making me make some like poor decisions. But there are certain things, like when the night I met my husband, I was 22 years old. We met on Tinder. I moved to Arizona and I was like, I need to find some friends. I guess I'll get a boyfriend and just like take his friends. I don't know how to make new friends in a new place. So I got on Tinder, saw this cute boy, and the night I met him, my intuitive sense was like, oh shit, I'm going to marry this guy. And you have to have
Mhm.
the self-control to not go, hey, we're going to get married. Like you have to
Mm,
you're going to have to really hold that in, babe, at least for a little while, because other
yeah.
people need to catch up to your visions.
Oh my
But
God, so
but the
true.
intuitive awareness, like, was there all the time for me. And I was listening and I was paying attention. The piece that was really missing for me that I'm excited to give to people is not just how do you hear and use your intuition? How do you decipher your intuitive language? But how do you let your true self be born from that? Like, how do you let your most authentic self arise out of that inner truth that asks you to act moment to moment? So, my journey has led me to the work that I do now, which is my deepest passion. Like, I truly geek the fuck out over personal development, like sitting with people and exploring their emotions and their psyche and telling them it's okay and loving them in the process and being like, you're a rock star. You are getting this. Like, it is happening.
Yeah.
It's already happening. Is like, what other way would I want to spend my life? I mean, I would love to spend it traveling and buying cute clothes, and eating good food, but that's about it. That's all I really need, you know?
Right? You're like, "That's it." And those
Yeah.
are all gonna come from this, so it's, like,
They're already here,
perfect,
babe. Like, I do that
right?
shit
Like,
all the time because I built a life from my intuition.
building a life from your intuition. Wow, there's so many things to, like, circle back on, and I'm just gonna, like, say what was speaking out because, like, I always see things again, like, through the chart helps me, like, have
Please.
order to the intuitive hits. It's so beautiful that, like, this journey of your life and y having all of this, like, knowing, and I love, like, the bathtub channeling, and I'm laughing, like, I told my parents I was, like, part of a harem when I was 5, and they were like, "Where did you actually learn that word? Like, we're disturbed. Like, we don't have TV." This was pre-internet. They're like, "What? Where?" And it's like those things your parents are just like, so I'm, like, cracking up about that.
Yes.
And then all of this, like, Sag Moon, but there's something that I love in your story that I wanna, like, really hold up for people. Astrology has so many amazing things, right? And there's so much going on in it. And everyone's like, "You're more than just your sun sign, and let's go into other parts." But what's cool about actually the culmination of our life's work can really come back to landing in our sun sign in such an embodied way, because that is how we're here to shine and share our light. What makes us, and it's also how we tend to ourselves first. Like,
Mm.
we are the center of our own universe. And if I nourish myself and I understand that light, I can bless and replenish and vitalize everything in my field with really not a lot of strain or stress needed from me. It just comes through naturally, but we have to tend to that life force, that vitality. And so for you, as an Aries, I always say, like, one of the things Aries is here to do is, like, teach us how to be ourselves and, like, be that unapologetic self and truly that bad bitch energy that's like, here's who I am, take it or leave it, and, like, it activates. And I owe my whole life, my whole career, like, a whole part of, like, what got me into understanding astrology beyond just, like, looking at your own chart with my Aries sister, like, watching her move through the world. I'm like, I want to be like that. Like, I want to be like that. And then all of a sudden I realized, like, oh, you have that in your chart. It's just dormant. So watch her and then take it. And that's, like, activating, showing something in you. So for your Aries energy to come to this place, it just is so magnetic and it's so juicy. And I love it because it's like, it's so fucking clear. It's so clear. It's like, yes. And people who resonate with it are going to be like, hell yes. And we'll talk about I'm sure there's people who we talked about in your podcast who are not resonating with what we're saying. We're like, cool,
Yeah.
that's just like either it's not for you or you're not ready, you're not there yet. But like the resonant coming off of you, like going on this journey to like almost come back into the fullness of the Aries energy is
Yeah.
making me geek out, to like use your terminology. I'm like nerding out on like, this is what I love about Aries culture,
Exactly.
sun sign superpowers. And you know, one thing I do want to talk about, and kind of like, I think is a good thing to talk about your work and empowering these sensitive, mission driven people to, you know, create a life led by their intuition. But like, again, really like connecting with themselves. And I think that's such a good question. Like, as someone who my whole life, like, had all this magic in me, but also was like, what can I do for you? And how can I help you? And what can I do for you? When it came time to be like, what do I want? I was like, no, I literally don't even know. Like, I don't even like, no, what do you want me to want? Like, so it's so relatable. And I think that comes from so many things. We're conditioned in so many ways to want to help people. And also we have a deep desire. And also all of that muchness you talked about. I want to circle back to that for a second. Like, oh my God, like if I felt so, you almost like, you know, your story has so many parts, you can't even remember it. I'm like, oh my God, that is such a part of my story. I've almost like forgotten about that chapter, but I feel it a lot, like not maybe articulated that clearly, but in people who come to me. And so that thing of like, oh, I see in other people how me being my authentic self, especially someone who's highly sensitive, intuitive, connected to all these different realms. It's like I could see the mirror and people being like, why is she doing that? This is making me uncomfortable. And you start, you know, that process of closing it off or shutting it down or dimming that. What is like, you know, this umbrella of, first of all, what do we want to call that, right? Is that intuitive? Is that sensitive? Like, and then do you have anything you just want to speak to on that point if someone might be feeling that right now, maybe as a grown person, wherever, or they see it in their children? Like, what is the journey of beginning? Like, how did you get from shutting that down to then being like, oh, wait, like it's safe to open that again?
Totally. That is the center point of my journey. And it is so delicious. And I think the truth is, for those of us, I like to call us crybabies, by the way. You asked us like what term I use. I call us crybabies.
Cutie.
I have a community called the Crybaby Club. And like my license plate is crybaby. I cry every single day. I post on my Instagram, like daily cry was brought to you by, and I like to tell you what I was crying about. Like, I am a crybaby. I cry about every single thing, always have, always will to the day I die. Like, no one will ever take that away from me. And I think the thing for people like us, for crybabies, is that the truth is we shrink back, not just because of the feedback that we're receiving, because we're hypersensitive. So we receive more feedback than the average person. So we shut down more easily because we're getting more data points that say no, 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 no. Because the world is not built for us. So we're getting overwhelmed, bombarded with data points that say, stop being the way you are. And at the same time, we're sensitive enough to receive all of those data points more so than the average person. So we are highly influenced. But it's not just that process of like shedding what has happened, but it is embracing the idea that as you are more yourself, you will receive but more of that, you know, and like understanding that it's okay. It's okay for people not to understand you. It's okay. And even just the other day, literally yesterday, my dad called me and he was like, I watched an episode of your podcast with the video and your set is too much. And he used the words too much. And I thought to myself, oh my God, this is such excellent feedback because my podcast is not designed for my dad. So if he doesn't like it, I'm doing something right. We need to understand that the data points that we receive of repulsion are just as powerful as the data points we receive of validation. Because if you think about a magnet, it attracts and repels. To be strong, you will inevitably be repellent. And for sensitive people, we struggle with repulsion. We don't understand it. We're like, wait, you hate my guts? Why? I'm literally the nicest person ever. Like, all I do is fucking love you, man. Like, why don't you like me? And it's because we have such a potent energy that people don't know how to hold it. We think that we are too much, but the truth is it is the capacity of others. It's just about the capacity of others that we're trying to get to hold us. They literally can't. Their arms are not big enough. They cannot see. And so when your light shines into their eyes, they feel blinded. It overwhelms them. It overpowers them. But that doesn't mean that you have to turn it down or tone it down. Instead, you have to learn that it is necessary. You must shine that light. It is what others need you to do. And I think the idea of being repulsive, and I use that word intentionally, like repellent, is so important because each human being creates our own unique, like neural synapse and like neural pathway on the collective consciousness. Each of our lives is a new neural pathway on collective consciousness. We are understanding ourselves through our experience here. And we are all ones who are understanding ourselves, right? So our job is to be that neural pathway as potently as possible, to be that like spark on this earth so that we can all learn. But you can't learn what you like and don't like, what you're meant for, if you're not also willing to be repellent. Like, we are attracted toward things, and that is really good information, but we also are allowed and need to be repelled by things. And you are repelled by things as a sensitive person constantly. I'm repelled by loud noise. I'm repelled by crowds. I'm repelled by lots of things. And that's informative for me. It's not personal. So if someone is repelled by your energy, that's all it is. And I think people want it to be like a fun, clean 3-step process. And no, it's not. Like, it's about learning these really deep personal truths that you can kind of only learn from someone who's done it, you know, from someone who's walked the path, who can go, oh, I know exactly what you're feeling. Don't worry. They just don't understand. And then you're like, oh, right. They don't understand. And that is like, to be truly witnessed, to be truly held, is like how we begin to free ourselves. And that's why I created my programs and my offerings and my community, for people to come into contact with each other and go, okay, they don't get it out there. I need to talk to people who do get it. I need to be in a space with people who do, because that's how you find the courage and the strength to be different and be sensitive, is by practicing it first in safe spaces. Long answer to your question. How do you feel about all that? I just dumped on you.
I love a channel. You and I are very similar there. The channeling, and just similar. I'm like, I'm just taking in so much, like the words you're saying, with the vibrations and the truth. And also I have a complicated relationship with words, I told you, but I am a word nerd. And I love when someone just is able to articulate something in a way that is just really alive, animated, but eloquent. And I'm like, yes. And like the magnet thing, I'm like, duh, like perfect. I will be using that with credit to you. I'll be like, my good friend Zoey, it's the magnet, right? And it's such an easy thing. Like, again, nature is always teaching us so much, and all these like analogies and understanding they're there. But then when we like, with us, it's so messy. It's so personal, right? It's like, why doesn't everyone like us? It's like, do you even want everyone to like you? Like, you don't like everyone. Like, why? Like, we don't need all of that. And we rather be like, I love hearing that, like, super commitment to, you know, our personal truth and the attunement. And all I'm hearing that is like power. Like, I'm seeing when you're talking, like ripple, like puddles, like leaking out everywhere, right? And then you being like, nope, as it get more and more clear, and kind of like the boundary, if you will, of like, it's okay not to be for you. It's okay not to be for you.
Totally.
But like doubling down on who I am, then you're like, go from this like leaky, like many little streams and puddles to this like fire hose of just fucking force of nature energy. I'm like, oh, I love that. And that's what I feel off of you. And there's such a clarity. And I love the cry baby. I'm also, as a Cancer rising, like cry all the time, like
all
literally all damn day. And in the moments where like you should never cry is exactly when I cry. I'm like doing my podcast, talking to the cry. I'm like on a business call, and I'm always crying. And it's usually because I'm like overcome with the beauty of life. So I'm like, I'm crying, but like just the human experience. And I was like, so I love, I'm like, I am a proud crybaby along with you. And I love that what you do too is like in your offerings. I love that you have community, and very much like just feeling also your Saturn in Aquarius. I think so much Saturn is teaching us in our chart, like how we're meant to bring our work to the world in sense of like, who are we here to become? And like some of the challenges and the friction, like Saturn gets a bad rap, but it's like Saturn is here to like give us some friction, give us some things that aren't totally smooth sailing, So that way we can become like masters of our craft, of ourself. And so we can put in like that hard work that taps into the heart work of like, oh, what's there a little level deeper? Like what's there beyond? And it is usually a little bit of we have to wait. And again, we talked about, I always use my fast fashion analogy. I kind of started to allude it on your podcast, but it's like, listen, honey, Saturn's going to make us wait for something, but it's because they're making us a bespoke, like couture fit every inch of our body, like ball gown or power suit. It's like, you're going to wait for that? Or do you want to get a Shein piece of polyester that's going to be landfill anxiety inducing like garbage in a week?
And produced as slave labor.
Produced as slave labor. And guess what? You smell like BO because it's synthetic. Okay. Like, it's like, it's like, are we willing? And like, right. It's like, so it's like buy it nice or buy it twice. It's like, it's fast fashion thing of like, just don't do it. And same thing. And Saturn's like, do you want to wait? Come get your measurements. I'm cooking up back there something wonderful for you. And so with Saturn in our chart, it's like this process. And I see your Saturn in Aquarius of like these things to learn about being yourself, being everything you're saying about the vision, even from, I love, because like it's in your 7th house. So I even love like seeing your partner and feeling that feeling immediately with your husband, and like knowing that
totally
all the way up to the vision of your life. One of the biggest things I tell people, I'm like, no one has to believe in your vision but you, because no one's going to understand it. The things that I've felt and seen way ahead, and I've tried to explain to people back in the day, and then I realized I'm like, this is just a leaking
Don't waste your
energy.
time.
I'm leaking energy trying to do this. Let me just trust in it, show them, and live it, right? Like keep living out this vision I'm feeling. So for you with your Sag moon and your Saturn Aquarius is coming through so much when you're talking. I'm like, and of course she creates like a community, because I think this is so important to test this out in this like safe, like an incubator of the crybabies and, like the mystics and the witchy weirdos and the people who are like open and be like, hey, it's cool to be like this and talk about this. Let me test this out. So that way you could go out, right, into like your corner of the world. And now you've practiced that, you've built that muscle. So I love seeing the evolution of who you were and what you created and how much intention has gone into it. And you're also brilliant. You're brilliant. I understand. Like, so I was cracking up at myself when you're like, I'm just going to be a normal person and study
be a journalist,
third gender, be a journalist. I'm like, well, yes, yes, as one does.
As one does. Absolutely.
As
like
one does.
It's so necessary, because the truth is I wouldn't be able to do exactly what I'm doing if I hadn't lived my purpose just in a parallel way. It's like I showed up for work wearing the wrong clothes. It's like I showed up for like my job as a trapeze artist wearing like a policeman's outfit. Okay, like what's going on here? You know what I mean? When I finally could just admit to myself, I'm a trapeze artist. Like when I could finally just say to myself, I am a big energy destined for big, wonderful things, that I started to experience big, wonderful things. Like they say it's true, but like it is so true. And I think the thing that I am excited to do is just hold people's hand through that process. I think some of us are here to create tools, and I create tools. I have, subliminal reprogramming portals that I've created. I have like all sorts of things that I've created. I'm here to create. That's part of it. But I'm also really here to hold someone's hand and be like, you don't have to do this by yourself. I'm here to cheer you on and remind you that you're doing a great job, and like be the one place that you can like just be safe practicing this skill. Like I'm someone's like training wheels, like I help them feel ready. And it's the honor of my life. I love it more than anything. And I'll do it for anyone who lets me, that's my joy. And I'm excited for that to continue to evolve and expand. And I already know where it's going. I'm psychic. I already know what the next steps are, but I'm learning this really cool thing that I want people to learn too, which is the journey itself is actually the best part. I already know the amazing successes I'll achieve, and I know the ones I already achieved, and I know the ones I'm working on right now. And they're all of equal importance. There's no destination. Like this process exists for your entirety of eternity. When I'm Zoey, when I was someone else, when I'm the next person I'm going to be, it's all of it. So like when we can just acknowledge that we don't need to be in a rush, but we feel a sense of urgency to live in truth, that's the sweet spot. Is like, I know it's okay for me to do this in my own way, but I know I need to do it. you're in the cosmic zone. You're in the
And-
most magical
and-
place. Like you're in the place where the
yes.
magic actually happens. And I'm just there to hold your hand while you explore that terrain and be like, I know it's crazy in here. We have trees made of bubble gum and like all sorts of like, I get it. This world is topsy-turvy upside down and they didn't prepare you
Yeah.
for this in the other world, you know? I get that it's a little hard when you get here. So I want to help people feel safe going, oh, is it okay for me to take everything off and then start over? Yeah. And
Mhm.
you should, babe, because you fucking hate your life. And the only way to fix it is to do something different.
Yeah. Oh, so well said. And I love that. I feel like your Sag moon again coming through just feels like this like
I'm a people
amazing,
person.
right? Like I'm a guide. Like come on the ride. Like I'll hype you up, should you on, let you know, like, okay, like this is your path, but I will tell you, like that bubblegum virus, like just don't when it's raining, just don't touch it. It gets sticky in a way that like I'm just gonna help you avoid something. But also like this is your thing to experience. I'm here, I'm holding you. You're not alone. I'm gonna balance some things off. And like I think so much of what I'm excited for of like I like what you said about like everything. That's why I love astrology. I think everything we bring in our own charts, like we're weaving into the collective consciousness. And I think about like in each and every one of us to live in like the full expression of these archetypes. Like for Sag right now, there is something, you know, we're entering Uranus and Gemini, a huge like 7-year cycle. It's talking about information and the mind and everything from people becoming like more information, more overstimulated, like the AI, the chat GPT of it all. And like we actually need people who are in the opposite of that, which is Sag, which is the embodied lived experience. And to be like, hey, that's so cool that there's all this information out there, but like I hold wisdom. And I don't mean that in any egoic way. It's just like I've been on these streets, like, and the human in me sees the human in you. And there comes a part in so many of our journeys where we just need someone being like, you're climbing this mountain, you're walking through this forest. Like I've been there and I'm just gonna like hold your hand and tell you you've got this. And just in that like there, and it's such a fire. Like I feel that warmth of that you know, you're the oldest fire of that Sag moon. It's like there's young fire and old fire. You got it all in there, girl. And I'm like, oh, like it's like sitting around a fire on the journey at night and being like, okay, we're telling stories, we're recouping, we're like feeling something really ancient, tapped into, but we're also like excited and what like in the vision, but also really present in here. So I love that that's the work you're doing. And I know this is a shift for you because it's like from one-on-one to now more like mentoring work, right?
Yeah. That journey was really hard for me. And it's currently being undone, not because I'm not ready for it to be undone, but because my clients are still adjusting to the change. I'm helping them navigate the change because I've spent a decade doing this, you know, like from a very early age, I put myself forward as someone who would hold people's wisdom. They would give me their power and go, what do I do? And when I'm a young, hypersensitive people pleaser who's trying to survive in this world, I didn't ever tell people things that weren't true, but I never held up a mirror lovingly enough to say, you don't need someone to tell you what to do. You already know what to do. And it's funny, when I started working with my mentor, I described him as the troll that lives under a bridge that like tells you riddles, except I understand everything he says and I can walk across the bridge at any time. It's like, I already know the answers. And I get to walk across the bridge whenever I want to. Sometimes he just has to say, what if this? And I go, oh, duh. Yeah. Okay. And it clicks for me, you know, like that's the honor that I get to be now. Whereas in the past, people relied on me for their answers. Like, what do I do? You know? And I held that because I thought that that's what being of service was. I thought, this is too heavy for you. I'll hold it for you. It's okay. And what I realized was, they can't do anything for themselves if I'm holding everything they need to work with. Like if I'm holding what they need to sit with themselves. So I had to undo the people pleaser mentality, undo the martyr mentality that said, this is what service looks like. And then go, the greatest service I can be of is to truly just be that mirror. And being a mirror is such a deeper experience than, you know, a one-on-one session. Even, you know, my clients that I see once a month, twice a month, who like are getting more of that like mentorship coaching. Like the truth is, in the container space of, you know, I've created this 9-month container that's launching early next year that I'm super excited about. I'd love to tell you about in a second. But the container is where, you know, the deeper work really gets to take place, because that's where I go, hey, babe, I'm not going to hold this for you, but I'm going to teach you how to feel strong enough to hold it. Like I
Yeah.
know you can do it. And I feel really excited and really prepared for that experience. And I have loved the
Mm.
decade of, sleepover style pulling cards for people and the magic
Mhm.
that is. And like, I'll do that for the rest of my life. Like, make no mistake. I'm not done being psychic. I'm just using my gift in a different way, in a way that is truly of service, not just to the people who need me, but to myself. Like, this is the work that I'm here to do. And so to get to do it is the highest honor that I can ever experience. And if that is true, then it is an alignment. Like, if it is true for me, it is true for others. And therefore, it must
Yes.
be pursued.
Oh, so true. And it really is. I feel like this is something, everything you're saying is just things that have been kind of been in conversation lately. I hear, chatterings and life in my own community with clients. It's just like a very, what you're saying, even one of my like mentees, and I only have one right now because I don't know, it's like booking babies
She's
stuff,
dialing back,
but
people.
yeah, I've dialed it back a little bit, but she was in deep alignment with us. Like, yes, let's do this. And she had said she had a lot of friction and kind of like a light triggery experience with the concept of being of service because of kind of everything XYZ, what you had talked about. And when you were talking, I'm like, are we living the same life? Have we had the same experience? And so I love this thing of like being of service to yourself too, because we all know at this point, like the conditioning and the stuff that sees like, oh, there's like, oh, like a bristle at hearing that, especially from a
Yes.
woman, especially from someone who's like, the helpers, the healers, the whatever. Like, and it's like, no, but I want to be of service to myself because like, duh, like, this is where it all starts from. This is where it all emanates from. And like, if I'm not going to do it, who is going to do this? And it's just so much more magical and alive. I can only imagine like the work that you're doing. It must just be like the potency must be like turned up to, an 1111, if you will. Cause it's like the, it's like the like, so cheesy because of this, of you being your truth. And that's what I love. Like my mentor, like my favorite mentors are the ones who are so in their truth that like just being in their frequency is that transformation by transmission because they're just so in their alignment, in their real energy that I sit
Bingo.
with them and I'm like, get everything I need. Like just like
Bingo.
confirmed. Okay, cool.
When I was creating this container, I had a lot of people be like, you need like a theme. You have to sell them a journey. And I'm like, no, babe, the right people are entering the field.
Yeah.
Like, that's all there is to it. I'm here to meet every single person where they are, not fit them into the program that I have. I'm here to hold you right where you are, and we're growing together. And one of the things I've learned by working with a mentor is I only need him to be like 2 steps ahead of me,
Right.
Like,
Right.
just stay 2 steps ahead of me, babe. And you always have something to teach me. Like, and I think that's
Always.
the most powerful thing is like, sometimes it's the people that have just walked in your shoes that have the most to tell you because it's really fresh for them. Like, they know exactly what it tastes like and what it feels like. And so instead of a program or like a month by month theme or whatever, which I love to explore because I use numerology in my work. Like, I love to explore the collective, like what's happening in the collective month by month and like what our overall themes are that we're navigating. And like, I use numerology much the way that you use astrology. And I use it every single day with my clients and myself and my mentees and whoever. But there's something deeper than even those things, which is the truth that exists inside of us already. And so I really modeled this container after the journey of the butterfly. And the thing about the caterpillar and the cocoon and all those things that most people don't know is that in the cocoon, the caterpillar melts into goo. And in that goo are imaginal cells. And those cells hold the blueprint for the butterfly. And so the truth is, you already are on a cellular level the person that you dream of being. You already are the butterfly. And guess what? The caterpillar is unconscious. It sheds its skin over and over as it grows. It only knows to eat and survive. And one day it comes to this point where it says, I have to entomb myself in a cocoon because I'm meant to be something else. And I meet people right there at that point where they're like, oh shit, I'm meant to be something else. And I think I know what it is. And I'm a little too scared to hold that by myself. And it's like, don't worry.
Yeah.
The cells are already there. They're already there. I'm just a doula for that process,
Yes.
Like, I'm like a metamorphic midwife, like I'm here to help you just move through that process. And that's the thing, is like every person that enters the field is on the same journey. We're holding the same collective consciousness, but maybe we're just at different stages, just at different parts, but we're still learning from each other, because the container is, this one-on-one experience with me, but it's also everyone else that's in the container. And we are learning from each other. And it's such a powerful thing. And I chose 9 months because that's how long it takes to make a human.
It's
we
a
grow in
classic
the womb.
gestation.
Exactly. So it's like you'll be, and people think it's going to take years and years and years and years and years to be the person they want to be. No, babe, it just takes a willingness to continue to take off the things that aren't you. So the work that I'm doing now just feels truer. It feels more in alignment. It feels more delicious. And I've given my psychic work clients, I've given them 6 more months. I was like, guys, by the time of my birthday, we're done with that. Okay. And we're doing something different, but I'm going to give you like a little bit more of a runway, giving everyone lots of notice. But it's like the container is coming, and sorry, that's where you're going to need to be at to continue to work with me in that way. But I still have the podcast, all my free content. I have tools and resources for your journey from beginning to end. But the immediate work with me is just going a little bit deeper, because that's where I want to be. And that's important, because if that's where I want to be, that's where I'm meant to be. So I know I have to show up.
Yeah, you're being called a true cosmic calling to that. And in that is, and just, I hope everyone listening is either feeling like a yes, like a tingle to work with you, or just like a reverberation and a resonance and a permission to be like, oh, I'm feeling that too. And it is hard to walk away from either something you built or to turn down. Like, I know every time I've shifted my work that has to be certain people, I'm like, I am not going to actually be in that exchange anymore.
Yeah.
And it feels weird to say no, but I'm saying yes to something that is more aligned and better, and going through like that metamorphosis process is like what led me here, where I'm like, I'm so happy that I am, I moved past like the original, whatever other things I was doing, businesses and the card slinging and the individual like one-off chart readings. And it's like, oh, you have to kind of trust you're being led, and the people who are going to meet you there at that point are going to be so grateful that like you showed up in this way, and they're going to be exactly who they're ready to be. And I think that just as we kind of like wrap up here, because there's so much more I could talk to you about, there's something so cool about, again, like the individual and the collective. That's like breath, like it's like inhale, exhale. That's like all part of this organism of our collective, because this is so much of, we just went through so much. I can't even articulate. My sister was over, she's in Aries last night, and my other cousin, she's a Scorpio. We're like a very witchy family, and we were just like talking celestial smack and yapping, and just like, what is this energy out there? It's crazy. And like, we know, but it's like, to live it is one thing. Like, and we were just recapping the Aries journey that all of us have been on. We had like the Jupiter in Aries of it all, like 2022, 2023. Then it was like the North Node in Aries with these Aries eclipses. And like, we've been in Chiron in Aries forever. And then like, these, like massive eclipses, and they like crossed North America with Chiron. And then like the Aries eclipses, they always happen in like there's a pattern. And whenever there's an anomaly, like I think all people in astrology are just like, neurospicy people like me who love to recognize patterns. And I'm like, oh, it's so weird that there's no Aries lunar eclipses. There's no full moon. Everything is solar eclipses in the cycle. And I don't really remember seeing that since I started studying eclipses. And so there's just this new solar energy, new on Aries. Who are you? Rafiki, who are you? Like, who are you? Like, what the hell are you about? What do you stand for? Like, what are you going to stand 10 toes down on that is wholly you? And like, nope, back again, drawing board. There's still a little smidge. There's an aura. There's a little goo on you that's not you, like a shed. And then we go through that. And then we're like, and Saturn enters Aries, and like Neptune enters Aries. And I'm like, oh my God, the Aries energy. Like, if there's ever just such a clear message from the cosmos, from the like, Akashic realm of like, who are you? And like, go be that and embody it, and trust that it doesn't have to like make sense. It doesn't fit into like a program and a path and a sales pitch and a label. And I feel like the universe, like, get it through your head. It doesn't have to look like how you think it's going to look. It's just about being so you. And I'm thinking about that magnetism. And that is, I think, what's so needed in the collective right now. Like, I always have to bring it back to the collective, because I'm always like, there's so much, we're here, like we're birthing, we're midwifing in
Totally.
like our new collective energy. And I'm like, we have to be in that so that anything that feels like not our truth, that feels like the bullshit, that feels like all of the messy stuff that got us here, like it just repels off of us. And like, yeah, I rebuke that. I am so happy to lose a brand deal because I'm speaking out, like, right, for Palestine. I am so
100%.
happy that you don't want to work with me because you're uncomfortable, that I stand in my truth on this, that I stood up. I am so happy that you don't think I'm a cool, chill girl because I don't think your like thinly veiled, racist, coded jokes are funny, right? Like rebuke.
Yes.
And like, I love that you use that word. I love that you were using, wait, what was the word you were using? It was so good. Repulsion. I was like,
repulsion. Yeah.
I was like, I would love like for like, it's like a badge of honor, right?
Yeah.
To have people who are not aligned with me, like repulsed by me. I'm like, I hope so. And I hope that all that energy is repulsed from me because I want no part of it. And I want to be so in that truth, like you're being, to be this like magnet and also this, again, like huge permission slip for someone else. Like, hey, come up, like this is good over here. Like I did it, you can do it. And this is how we like move forward. Because I feel like this like collective consciousness of us all being in this like conformist, like let's be who we want to be, let's be real, like a few freaking like billionaires and corporations and politicians can all like mold us in this like sheep mind. Like the last thing they want is someone like you, is someone like people you work with to be like,
exactly.
Oh, actually, I don't care if you don't like me. I actually like that. I don't care. And so what you're talking about, it's just such, you articulated something that I've been feeling for years with this Aries energy below the surface. And you've just said it from a different angle, with a different perspective, with your lived experience, with your wisdom, with your like wit, in a way that I'm like, hell yes. Like everyone, like wherever you're at in life, like people ask me, like, what do we do next? What do we do? What do we do? And I'm like, well, we know the things we should do. Like there's obvious, there's certain things like, but then your journey of what you're doing right now is a good story in real life terms of showing up in that way, I think.
Well, because we have to. Because what you're talking about, we absolutely, the collective is in an extremely fragile space. Like it is, I know where it's going because there's only one truth, right? Like I know the ending of this story is happy. I do. Like I believe that in my heart.
Me too.
And I know that right now it's feeling very fragile and it's feeling very confusing and scary. And I totally understand that. And there are a lot of days that it gets me too. A lot of days where I'm like, wow, being a woman is so much more dangerous than it used to be. Like, believe it or not, like the pendulum has swung and we are tasting the other side of what we have known. It's especially for people like in our age range, like we knew good things, not great things. We knew good things and now we know bad things. And we're like, whoa, I didn't know that it was so fragile. And in order for us to do anything with that, in order for us to impact the collective whatsoever, we must each individually choose our truth. It is the only way to change the collective. We're never going to, not one person's going to stand up and go, can we all figure this out, please? That's not how it goes. But as each person embodies their truth, like agreement is simple. Like peace is simple from a place of truth. Like we're not going to get there in our lifetime. And I've accepted that. But I can definitely do my part to help each individual person experience like true emotional, spiritual freedom, like true liberation, so that they can bring that into the collective. Like they can contribute it to the collective. 100%. And that's what I'm doing and that's what you're doing. We're doing the same thing. Baby.
The same
You
work.
do it through astrology. I'm doing it through intuition. Like boom, boom, baby. Two sides of the same coin.
Two sides of the same coin, and many voices, many notes needed in this like harmony that we're creating to change the resonance of the planet. And it's just, the math is mathing. It's like when you're doing this work and you're feeling liberated, like it's so easy for you to hold cleared, unencumbered space for liberation of others because you're so fucking free. You're like, great. Like, let's fucking go. Like, you want to be you want to do this? Great. And so I love this. I bow to the work you're doing. We're going to like, link to all your stuff. I'm sure people are just going to like fiending. The thumbs are flying on the keyboard to find you in all corners of the internet. But is there anything that you want to leave people on, or anything we can get to, or anything that's just coming through like my beautiful channel right now?
Well, first, I want to thank you. That's the first thing I want to do is just thank you so much for the 2 hours that we've spent together today have been like altering to my genetic makeup. Like truly to be in your field is a gift and a blessing. And I say that as a mirror, like knowing it is also true of me. Like, and I feel it more true about myself in the presence of you. I love myself more in the presence of you. Like this might be one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. And I've done a fuck ton because I got to be myself so completely here. And that is a credit to who you are. So like your field is potent and anyone is beyond blessed to work inside that field. So that's the first thing I want to say. The words I would like to leave the audience with, our listeners, is I want you to know that the person that you see when you close your eyes, the person that you just know deep down that you are. And I see that person and I love that person. And that person is more than enough. And they are beautiful and they are wise and they are intelligent and they are strong and they are capable and they are brave. And you're allowed to be that person. You deserve to be that person and you already are that person. And anything that keeps you from that doesn't belong to you and you don't have to hold it anymore.
Amen. Sister friend, I say aho, and so it is. That was a prayer. That was a whole energetic like realignment.
I feel it
to get us in touch with that like divine. I'm like, ooh, we are in connection. So thank you so much to you, Zoey, such an embodiment of the Aries archetype, of the Aries cosmic bad bitch energy that exists in all of us. That's just like waiting to be remembered, reactivated, reignited. I'm so honored to be alongside you on this journey of like our joyful reimagining of what our collective and our personal experience can be on the planet at this time. And I'm just going to send so much love to all the baddies listening and just say, like, if you love this episode, you know what to do. Show our girl some love, shower her with love, hype her the fuck up and let her know, like, you got something going on.
Please, words of affirmation is my love language.
Like, we all need it. I love it. Like, it's words are right. They're conjuring so much magic. And of course, to leave you on some conjured magic, just wrapping you all in so much love and protection, as I always do. And of course, speaking those prayers over you for big, fat, juicy checks and hot, fulfilling, toe curling sex, because also, like, you deserve it. My cosmic baddies, I love you to pieces. Thank you for spending this time with us. Thank you to Zoey. Mwah. Do you love getting your Cosmic RX for the week here and want more? Make sure to sign up for our premium subscription so you can get exclusive access to bonus podcast episodes, all of my astrology info for the month ahead, and live new and full moon calls to help you manifest your dream life with an intentional international community of other cosmic baddies. Sign up through our link in show notes.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you want to know more about Cosmic RX, head on over to thecosmicrx.com. And if you really love this show, I'd love it if you left a rating and review on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. I super love hearing from you and reading your reviews. All right, you cosmic baddie, tune in next week. And until then, remember, love yourself fully, work your magic, and take no shit.